Hey guys, it's Miss Tatum. So again, we're going to go ahead and review the author's purpose, and we're going to start off with why did the author write an entire text? Again, there are three main reasons that the author wrote a text. It could be to inform, persuade, or entertain us. Typically, when our texts are more complex, the author might show all three of these purposes, but for the most part, it's not going to be to entertain us because the texts that we're reading are informational. But we need to be thinking, are they trying to persuade us or change our minds about something? So I'm going to go ahead and review the thinking steps for this. So please follow along so you can be successful on your exit ticket later. Let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is examine the title. The title often gives us the author's purpose and the topic. So we need to be thinking, what does the author want us to know? So for the text you read on Monday, the title was The 1918 Flu Pandemic That Killed Millions. Well, based off of this, I know that the topic is the 1918 flu pandemic, and I also know that it's trying to inform me that it killed millions. So I think that this text is going to inform me about the 1918 flu pandemic and also probably make me understand that it was really, really bad for society. The next step is we need to be thinking about the central ideas. What does the author most want us to know in each section of the text? With all of the central ideas, we need to come together to think, why did the author mostly write this text? So I'm going to go through the subheadings and I am going to just think back to our reading from Monday about the central ideas. So we see flu facts. Well, I remember that the author was just giving me facts and information about the flu in 1918. The flu strikes far and wide. I also know that the author again is giving me information about how the flu affected the entire world in 1918. It is a pandemic, and pandemics are diseases that infect the entire world. Fighting the flu. Again, the author was giving me information about how doctors and scientists were fighting the flu in 1918. The flu takes a heavy toll on society. I know in this section, the author was trying to teach me how the flu affected society. They were stopping grocery stores from functioning. It was affecting businesses. And lastly, we see the flu pandemic finally ends. So it explains to us how the flu pandemic finally ended. So is the author explaining, emphasizing, or persuading the reader with these ideas? Well, I definitely don't think with all of that information that the author was trying to persuade me. But I do believe that he's explaining to me and giving me information about the 1918 flu pandemic and emphasizing how bad it was. Let's go ahead and continue. The next step is to check and reread the first and last paragraphs. Typically, the author is going to reveal their purpose in the first and last paragraphs. I want you to pause this video and take about a minute to read the first and last paragraph to think, what is the author's purpose? Is he explaining? Is he persuading or emphasizing information? Okay, so now that you've read it, the first paragraph, I know that the author again is giving me facts about the 1918-1919 flu pandemic and emphasizing it was the deadliest in modern history. And in the last paragraph, the author again emphasizes how bad the 1918 flu pandemic was. So I need to now stop and think and put all of those things together. What do the title, subheadings, central ideas, and first and last paragraphs suggest about the author's purpose for writing this text? Well, I believe that the author is mostly trying to inform me about the 1918 flu pandemic, which is the topic. I don't believe the author is trying to persuade me of anything or to change my mind about anything in this text. So I'm going to go back to a question that we were really struggling with on our exit ticket from Monday. And I asked you guys, what was the primary purpose in writing the selection? The primary purpose translates into what is the most likely reason the author wrote this text. So we were stuck between two answer choices, but I want to go ahead and eliminate some that are missing information that can't be it. So I'm going to give you guys about 30 seconds. Pause the video if you need to read over the answer choices. So we're going to go ahead and start with D because D is missing information. D is not the right answer choice because it does not include all of the information. Again, C is only speaking to a certain part. It says it's telling us how scientists fought against the 1918 flu pandemic. Well, that's only speaking to one of the subheadings, and many of you are stuck between A and B. As you can see, the answer is A, but many of us were choosing B, and I know this was a tough choice, but I want to explain to you guys why A is the better answer choice. So I want to go back and stamp the subheadings because the subheadings shared lots of facts about the flu pandemic. Not so much explaining how it affected the entire world. There were many other aspects which make me think that A is the better answer choice. So again, I was leaning on all of these subheadings and their central ideas, which would land me on A because all of these things were giving me facts. The author was constantly giving me facts to teach me and give me information about the 1918 flu pandemic. So please follow these steps for your exit ticket, and I promise you it's going to help you determine the author's purpose. So examine the title first, review the subheadings, and think what central ideas did the author most want us to know? And then check the first and last paragraphs because we constantly need to put all of these things together in order to think the author mostly wanted to. So what did the author mostly want us to learn? Or what was the author's purpose? So I want you guys to go ahead and pause this video because next we're going to zoom in on a different skill. I just wanted to help you guys and refresh your memory before you take a quick quiz at the end of this lesson.